Welcome to channel 831 Avo. Today in Los Gatos, California, Santa Cruz Mountains, Adams Ridge, 2,400 feet in elevation, Zone 9B, for the application of the Midsummer Gypsum. Again, originally clay. I've been scratching and twisting for like 3 years, and it's kind of working. And now I feel like it's soft enough where it's going, but there's still a few trees that are underperforming. So this one, again, maybe the bogginess, but hopefully the aeration and then the gypsum really breaks it down. It's still ribboning, so it's too tight, or tighter than I would like to be. But this one, over stress, holding fruit. This one fought to keep it on, and then it suffered the consequences, versus that one. Again, both of them, I want to say specifically that one in the 16s, this one in the 12 or 13. This one self-thinned down to like about 7. Of those 7, 4 matured. So this was a better option, and both of these were Fallbrook 15s, GMZ, Gem on Zutano seedling rootstock. And this one, again, it ripened less, was holding on to less, self-thinned, and ultimately ripened less, versus the other one struggled to fight and keep it on, and ultimately couldn't do it. So my recommendation is to thin on the first 2 years. This is even a 15. So if you get a loaded 15, for sure thin, or I would honestly remove. But again, this is the consequences of self-thinning, and that's a big difference. Look at that. Versus overstressing the hold. Again, this fought to keep all its fruit, but it ultimately struggled, and I had to take off the fruit anyways. But you don't really know how it's gonna react till it's going through it. But again, condition, this is definitely a little bit less sun exposure. Could be why the soil sits a little bit more wet. But again, this is definitely still sticking, versus over there conditions are more ideal. Soil is loose. But it'll bounce back. So again, scratch and twist it with the fork, and it's going to be gypsum. I assume that there's a roots like at the canopy's edge, but I normally start outwards and claw in as close as possible. This one I kind of gave it a gutter, to kind of slope this way, so I twisted and shaped. So again, that's going to be the gypsum, and then I'm doing a walkthrough on all the trees. This is a Hass. This is a vegetative sucker, but it is loaded, the older growth. And that's how you know that it's able to do it. You need to be seeing fruit thickening, and then new suckers, that red vegetative growth. All right, take a look. Again, once again, that was a Home Depot Hass. This right here, this is a GMZ, Gem on Zutano seedling rootstock. It replaced an underperforming Lamb Hass. Again, that was a 5. In these tougher conditions, in these tougher clay conditions, I recommend that you put down 15s and 15s only. My honest recommendation and feedback and input to the community. If you're in tough conditions, the bigger you start, the better. This is a new install. I know I'm loose, but I just lightly scratched it, and again, gypsum. And then this one, again, this right here is a Home Depot Hass originally. And then again, conditions are ideal and fruiting. Don't want to get too close and step and recompact the soil, but you get the idea. It's loaded. This right here, a fungus. That's a fungus. I don't think that it harms it, but it just looks kind of ugly. But again, over time it'll cover itself better. The multi-grafted apricot, Patterson apricot with various aprions, it's gonna just get, I'm gonna just box it off. Again, the theory is 4 major lateral limbs, but if I leave it, which I've done before, it kind of overexposes it. So now I'm just gonna prune it like a box. Again, theory calls for 4 outward shape, but it gets pretty warm up here, so don't always listen to the theory. Work around the tree and conditions. Work the tree to the appropriate conditions. This right here is a gem on clone or rootstock. Duke, I think. Yeah, Duke 7. And then I feel like it finally bit. Like last year, the leaves just looked a little smothered. And it'll look a little droopy, and that could happen on the first year, especially if it's used to the aeration in the can container. But I feel like it finally bit. Again, scratched and twisted. There's still a few thick chunks, but overall condition of the soil is improving. And this right here, this is a local gem, a local 15. A local 15, how do I know? Because this is the red tag. And I feel like it's suckering out on the bottom. And then I can expect this to lose to the suckers. And you can kind of tell because the limb looks a little thin, dehydrated. See the ridges on the limb? And then again right here, it's been limb dropping. I can expect this to lose to the new suckers. And again, that's just going to be self-shaping. It's going to want to go the way it wants to go. All right, so this is a gem, once again, on Zutano, a local gem. But yeah, not as big as the Southern California one in terms of the thickness of the starting trunk, but they get there pretty fast as well. They get there pretty fast. I can expect this one to want to hold next year. All right, a fig. Mini peach, and then Zutano for rootstock. Again, these more mature trees, I'm just going to apply the gypsum. I'm not going to scratch and twist the soil, but this one's holding. Now to the champion, the star, the gem. Again, this one's loaded. In the middle of the canopy, the center, and then even some of the higher limbs up here. Everywhere. Again, big difference. This one's self-thinned. Small crop versus that one that struggled and fought to keep its crop. It almost fruited itself to death. Right here on this one, it's just gonna be clean up as a preventative maintenance. If your limbs touch the ground, I've worked with avocado trees enough that the snails are gonna crawl on, and or fungus. So I'm just gonna cut right here to the last upward pointing growth shoot to where it bounces up, and then get rid of downward growth. And then also let's look at the bud. You can work it, you can baby it in a nursery. It's more forgiving. Selecting budwood. So yeah, I'm just gonna clean it up off the ground. Right here too. Right here is gonna go back to this, and I've been talking about this. This is the, en español le llaman el collar de yemas, which translates to collar of buds. And right here they talk about you getting the mixed buds, yemas mixtas, the mixed buds, flower and vegetative, yemas florales, floral buds, and or vegetative buds. So right there is the mixed buds right there. You'll get 1, 2, or all 3 of them. So this right here, again, overly skirting, preventative maintenance, preventing the fact that it's gonna eventually touch the ground. So just clean it up, and hopefully it grows back up. But just keeping it clean so that when we apply that sluggo, the snails are gonna have to crawl through a mine of bait, and hopefully they don't crawl up your central trunk. But if there's lateral branches, they're gonna crawl up your branches, and you can apply the sluggo, but it's gonna go and favor the avocado. So yeah, just clean it up is what I'm saying. Just clean it back up slightly, all right? Just to where it bounces back up, and you'll feel it. Just cut less and less. And then downward growth. Just right out downward growth. All right, moving on. This is the Gwen. I like the Gwen. You're either gonna get a good one or a bad one. And this one was a good one. And by bad one, I mean that it's gonna half die. So, but again, I just don't get attached, bro. Just keep planting, You're gonna have to shuffle some of your trees around. All right, you're not always gonna get it on the first one. This is a big baller. This is a big baller contest, all right? This is a big boy. This is a big boy moves up here, bro. Don't be scared to like, oh, I only want to buy 1 tree. Nah, bro. So yeah, this is a good Gwen. And then the Mendes, the Loca, the Mejorada. It followed everything that I wanted as instructed, but it's been slow to veg out. Again, this sucker, I kind of capped it because it was running away with all the vigor. I hard pruned it. And there's some limb dieback, it's okay. I hard pruned it because I wanted a forced production. Because these trees, young trees, have held for me before, especially a Carmen. But now, I'm not liking it. It's slow to veg out, and then so I'm gonna thin the crop. And then thin some limbs as well. Some limbs as well, just to shape. I want 4, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and I'm gonna first I'm gonna work with the gem. All right, take a look right here. Preventative maintenance and selection of budwood. It's just gonna be the downward near ground limbs, growth, and then lateral branching that are also on the ground. Just take a look. That's it. Just preventative maintenance and then propagation. For a propagation effort, towards propagation effort, I want the budwood. There's seedlings that can be grafted. All right, let me get to it. Take a look. That's the budwood. So instantly defoliate as fast as possible. Again, off of the gem budwood. And again, just cleaned up to where it bounces back up. Leave it on an outward facing shoot and it bounces back up. And then there is one that is a little low, but it's holding. And I just don't want to damage limbs that are holding. So I just harvested vegetative growth. All right, now mulch. And next up is going to be, again, that's the Gwen. But then it's going to be taking off the crop, and then a few Again, preventative maintenance cuts, knowing that there's just like one, the main sucker, that lateral limb, 3 limbs, eventually potentially future growing into themselves. So just maintenance, preventative maintenance, pruning, and or shaping. All right, that's next, but let me go put this in the cooler. All right, we're here with the Carmen Hass once again. We're here to eliminate the fruit. Again, not regretting entirely that I pushed it to hold fruit. Now I know that it really wants to do it. I kind of wanted to throttle this sucker and encourage the production with it, which it did. It did do what I intended to, but it's just not vegetating out fast enough. And again, I'd rather not risk these younger trees. I'm in no rush. I'm already getting fruit off of the Hass and the Gem and Zutano. So again, just thin. And then pick them up, all right? Don't introduce it to the pests. So take off all the fruit. Again, that fell out by itself. And you see there's some limb dieback. So I'm in a shape right now. Just snap it away from the main limb. Snap it away from the bottom part of the panicle. It's all right. I could leave one, but I'd rather it just grow. I know I could have done it. It would have stressed, it would have done it, but I wanted to hold even a bigger crop next year, so I can wait. And now it's just gonna be cleaning up this one, and that one, just to keep 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll see right now. Again, 4 major limbs, 1 for each cardinal point: north, south, west, east. Let me lop them off real quick. All right, sacrificed a crop of 18 little fruitlets, 18 little avocados, and then again, three limbs. Is this budwood? They were underperforming wimpy limbs. Bud expression is poor. It already has those ridges. It was dehydrating. I'm gonna call this a no. That's a negative, but again, right there was an upward facing one, a downward pointing one, and then that one that had already had some physical heat damage, and it looked to be dying back. 19 fruits. Again, is this somewhat incorrect because it grows back into this, intersecting or possibly intersecting and rubbing in the future? Yeah, but I know I can get production off of it for at least 2 or 3 years before it kind of risks growing into itself. So I'm gonna keep it. It's not its final form, is what I'm trying to say. It's not its final form. So 20. I'm gonna let it veg out a little bit and then also expose it to more sun. Take off some of these slats right here. More sun. Okay, this already been also scratched and twisted and gypsum. Now 3 more trees. Right, take a look at that demonstration. Scratch and twisted with the tiller, and then gypsum. I have 4 bags, 40-pound bags. So 120 bags divided by 15 trees. Eyeballed, helping out the ones that are underperforming or newer establishes. Or newer establishing trees. All right, 3 more. All right, Hass. Again, peel back the mulch, scratch and twist, and then gypsum. And then pinch. This is already getting nibbled on by deer, so I rather it come up and escape out of here multi-limbed. So just those 2 pinches on the Hass. Bacon. They're going to be a little underexposed, but over time we're cutting off the bigger trees, the bigger oak trees. So this is bacon. Another clonal rootstock, gem on Duke 7. And again, we're soft enough here. It's just a slope. And then again, we could get a little bit more sun because I know they like the exposure. And then this right here, a local gem on a Zutano seedling rootstock. Now we're gonna go, so this is Adams Ridge Avocados, and now we're going into Los Gatos Agaves. So take a look right there, beautiful view over there. You can see the coast better from the deck, but we're kind of coming down. You can see that right there, the Monterey Bay. But a few diebacks, like 2 or 3 failures, but definitely the bigger pups. This is Angustifolia marginata. I think we have several of them except Espadín. But this is Angustifolia marginata, Caribbean agave. A little striata pup right here. I could see it. Now this one's gonna be an Agave Americana blue. And then this right here, Agave Mexicano. Agave Mexicano. Down here. A little bed of Caribbean agaves. Again, once they get established, we can relocate them, spread them out. This is Sierra Negra, Oaxacensis, Coyote, Angustifolia marginata, Caribbean agave, a little ball, a little 360 ball, nice one, variegated. YOLO. This is YOLO, and it's kind of like silver, gray, purple, lilac almost. But then in there it's kind of green. But it's rooted, it's hunkered down. So this is gonna be, they believe it to be an Espadín Tequilana hybrid from Yolo County. The piña will be ripe in 4 to 5 years. So fast ripening. Another Sierra Negra, Oaxacensis. Agave Americana blue. Mexicano. It failed. Tobalá. This is Tobalá. That's a nice Tobalá. And again, it's hunkered down. Variegata, Americana variegata. Striata, striata, striata. Tequilana limeño. Variegated tequilana. Truncata. More ornamental. Tequilana. Tequilana right here. Again, angustifolia. Caribbean agave. This is Agave Americana striata pup, and I'll show you the mother. I'll show you the mother right now. Caribbean agave, Agave angustifolia marginata. Octopus, Vilmoriana. No, a blue. My bad, no, this is a blue. Agave Americana. This would make a cool grafting knife handle. This is sick, bro. This is quadricolor, Lofanta. Quadricolor. Something failed right there, but I'll use the cage. Caribbean agave. Agave Americana. Mexicano. This is, damn, and I knew it before I started. I forget, variegata, something. And then Oaxacensis. Another Oaxacensis right here. Sierra Negra. Either Mexicano. I don't believe that there's espadín here. Variegated striata. One of these is going to be a tobala. But this is the nicer Agave Americana striata. Like zebra striping. It's different like on every pad. So yeah, that was pretty much a walkthrough. Adams Ridge Avocados and Los Gatos Agaves. Stay tuned for updates, but in the near future, for sure, we're gonna be eating the guac and sipping mezcali. Mezcalifa. Some agave distilled spirit. California agave distilled spirit. Mezcalifa. Peace. Leave you with that view right there.